When you fly, would you mind if your name was given to the authorities? Two leading socialist MEPs look at this question differently. Barbara Durkop is a Spanish MEP whose special interests include civil liberties, and Jan Marinus Wiersma is a Dutch specialist in international affairs. Barbara, first of all, how do socialists find an equilibrium in these difficult questions?
I think this is really the question, because we all agree on fighting combat terrorism, combat crime, but there's always this thought behind it to say we need to know that we are not stepping on freedoms of civil liberties on the same time that we are asking for security. I think this balance, this equilibrium is a big question to us. And I don't know if I'm not so sure that putting my name on a list with all my records would help very much in combating terrorism.
Would you agree, Jan Marinus?
Well, I agree, especially I agree with Barbara Durkop. She's from Spain, and Spain has a negative experience with terrorism. In the ETA, but also the big Al-Qaeda attack in Madrid. So they know in Spain about terrorism. But they also know, like Barbara, that to combat terrorism is important, but also you have to protect civil rights of citizens. So we are prepared to accept any measure that helps in the fight against terrorism, but not all measures. And if you talk about this case about data retention, so we record all the information about passengers, we think this you run the chance of damaging the privacy of people, and then you of course violate human rights. So we are prepared to discuss good measures to fight terrorism, but not any measure. And in this case, we are not convinced. And we have told also to the Council and to the European Commission, if you want to discuss with us this new proposal about recording all passenger information in Europe, you have to convince us that this really works. And we are, until we are not convinced, we will of course not be ready to accept this.
Well, you're Spanish. Does it work?
I don't think so, because I'm absolutely convinced that absolute security is not possible. We would naturally look at it, but I've got a bit afraid that we are imitating or taking on board America's way of seeing these things.
Yeah, Marinus, finally, can you reassure us that the socialists will defend our civil liberties? Are we
Absolutely.
okay with our credit cards, with the food?
Yeah, but I will adopt a resolution which is very critical, which follows the line Barbara and I indicated, saying in principle we want to support the fight against terrorism, but we also want to protect the civil rights. And it's very courageous of someone like Barbara, who has personal experience in her own family with terrorist attacks, to take also a stand for civil liberties, for the freedom of people. And this is the line we will maintain. But we don't take the position never, because we also feel the responsibility that we have to do everything we can to fight international terrorism. But again, in balance. And we want to, we are open to be convinced by the Council that this might work, but I'm very doubtful whether they can, because so far measures already taken. There is already a limited data retention, and we've never seen, we've never been convinced that it works. So without a full evaluation of already existing measures, we are certainly not prepared to go into a very big, elaborate system on which we will have no control.
I think this is very important. We have a lot of instruments put in place already, but we don't have a full evaluation of what they have provoked, if they were worthwhile. Why should we put in new instruments without having a look? Were these effective that we have? Perhaps it's enough with what we've done. I think this is the first point we have to say. Tell us what the instruments put in place already, what effect they have had. And then we can step on further and look to new instruments.
Ja, Marinus Wiersma, dankjewel. Barbara Durkop, gracias.